this is my POTS story. I saw a lot of videos on YouTube, especially under Teen POTS Productions, and I got really inspired to make my video of my POTS story and say how I was diagnosed and how everything happened. So, here it goes. My name's Sarah. I'm turning 16. I found out I had POTS fairly recently, and everything just started going downhill really recently, actually. But my symptoms started when I was in 6th grade, so about 4 years ago my symptoms all started. I was your fairly athletic, sport every season kind of girl, running around busy with this, that, singing, chorus, bands, everything in between, and making time for schoolwork. I was a straight A student going into 7th grade, and I just started getting really tired all the time, and my back hurt so bad, and whenever I would stand up I would pass out, and it was just like nobody was believing me, because I guess middle school girl, you're kind of over exaggerating everything, but I was in so much pain every day, and it went times where I'd get so dizzy and so sick that I would fake having a sore throat so I didn't have to go to school, because if I said I was dizzy, my parents didn't believe me. I started having really bad patterns of sleep. During this time too, I couldn't sleep at night, and my doctors told me I had sleep anxiety. I couldn't go to bed. It was like I was scared. They thought I was scared to sleep. It wasn't. Turns out that's not what it is. It's just really bad insomnia and sleep disorders. I couldn't deal with it anymore, and I would cry all the time, and it was just so emotional for me because no one listened ever. And I would tell people like, oh, I'm in pain right now, and people would think during track, oh, she's faking it, but I was really hurting all the time, and no one listened. People tend to not understand POTS or the symptoms because there's so many. I mean, none of my doctors even linked my headaches and my dizziness and my nausea, my fainting, my joint pain with any of it. And I've had it for so long, and nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. I started to get frustrated and lash out against doctors because they were all telling me that I was in my head and that I was just growing and that there was nothing wrong. But in my mind, I was tough. I was an athlete. I went through pain, and I never felt anything like this in my life. So I just started to ignore it and try to live as much as I could. And besides sleeping all the time, I was fine. Then, to make matters worse, I got mono. And then, unlike normal people who just bounce back from mono after a while, I couldn't. My body just wouldn't accept that I need to be better. My legs were getting so swollen for no reason. I went to the orthopedic like 5 times, and I had to get cortisone shots in my foot because my foot was just so purple and red and swollen, and the MRIs and x-rays showed nothing. I have this kink in my neck right now. I got diagnosed with hyperflexia because I was super flexible when I was little. They found that out because I fell on my arm and my bone bowed. Like, it didn't break, it just bowed all the way. So that's when I was diagnosed with hyperflexia. And so I was getting frustrated because at this point I was in a long relationship and my boyfriend was not very understanding of the situation. I started getting really bad mood swings, and like a teenage girl gets mood swings, but my mood swings were more than anything, I thought I was bipolar for a while because of how bad I was getting. I was going from being extremely happy to just a miserable person. I would get these really bad chest pains, and I would cry and go into my parents' room and sleep with my parents because my chest just hurt so bad. And they told me I don't remember what it was called, but they told me I had something where just the muscle was sore around my heart, and that's all was happening. And then I had the urge to sit down all the time. Like, I couldn't stand up for more than 5 minutes. And like, you know those commercials you see that it's like, do not take this medicine if you cannot sit or stand for 5 minutes. I would tell my parents, Mom, that's me, I can't stand for more than 5 minutes. I just get so tired. And I would go to my sister's band competitions, and I would just have to sit down, and sometimes there wouldn't be any seats. So I would end up sitting on the ground or on the grass or something. My mom's like, why don't you just stand up? I just stand up. But I couldn't. I would get so dizzy and so tired just from standing up that I just needed to sit down. Then October came, and my symptoms started getting really bad. I'd have diarrhea like every day, vomiting, nausea, worst headaches ever. I never experienced headaches like this in my life before, and I'm like, my family has migraines, so I'm used to bad headaches, but this was more than I could ever deal with. I collapsed, and I was in pain. I was going through an emotional part too, because me and my boyfriend had just broken up, and he was like the first big breakup, and that's when everything got 10 times worse. They said sometimes like anxiety and pressure like this forces symptoms to come along faster, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because if that didn't happen, I would have never figured out what was wrong. But anyway, I couldn't concentrate in school, and I started getting bad grades, and I was always a good student. I was too tired to do my homework, and I was making every excuse not to go to school, and I felt like I was always sick. There comes a time in people's lives where you just have to get a fact that you just want to feel better. And I remember there was a part of my life that I just woke up and I was like, I just want to know what it's like to wake up and actually not be tired and not be dizzy and not have such horrible joint pain all the time. And it just sucks, but I got admitted to Jersey Shore Hospital, and it was a direct admit from a neurologist, because he had looked at my pupils and done a whole bunch of tests, and he said, I think your brain is swollen, and we need to put you in the hospital because I don't know what's wrong, and you came back positive for mono and this, so we just have to make sure you don't have meningitis. So I got direct admitted, and it was scary. I got told that I was going to get a lumbar puncture, and if you don't know, that's spinal tap. It's a big needle, like this big, and they stick it into your spine and take out fluid, and I ended up getting that done, and I had a spinal fluid leak. So, on top of having really bad headaches and being really dizzy all the time, I had a spinal fluid leak, and I couldn't walk, and I couldn't get up or sit up straight, and it was horrible, and I was just miserable in pain. I've never screamed that much in my life. I was better, and that for me is not possible. It was just not good. So I got scared, and I told my parents that I couldn't. There was something else wrong, and like the hospital was just giving up pretty much. So I went to an infectious disease doctor, and he straight up told me, and for the first time, a doctor telling me he had no idea what was wrong really felt good. I had so many symptoms, and nobody was connecting it. And this doctor, he told me there has to be a connection somewhere because somebody doesn't get this sick and have this many symptoms, and there's not one thing causing it. He was like, either you have really bad luck or there's something going on and we need to find out. So he referred me to Children's Hospital Philadelphia, and that's like the best pediatric hospital around. And people get flown in from all over the country to go see these doctors. So I got an appointment there, and I went to Children's Hospital Philadelphia. I got a whole bunch of tests done and all these things. And the last thing they did was they asked me to sit down and took my blood pressure, and my heart rate was 68. And then they asked me to stand up and not move or anything, and they took my blood pressure and heart rate again. And I looked at the heart rate monitor, and it went to 114. And I got really dizzy at that time, like always, and my chest started hurting, like always. And I looked at the thing, and I said 114. I looked at my parents, and I said, that's not right. And the nurse just looked at me, and she goes, you were just 68, and now you're 114. And that's when I knew. I was like, my initial thought was, oh God, there's something wrong with my heart, and that's a scary thought. But the doctor came in and told me, you have dysautonomia. You have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and this is what we're going to do. He started me on salt tablets, sodium chloride, a whole bunch of things, and that's where I am right now. I can't go to school, and I really haven't figured anything else out yet. But it's one step at a time, and it's just scary. But if you know any links or anything besides dietnet.org or anything like that, if you have chat rooms, or if you guys have any advice for me, just leave comments down there, because I'm trying to get through this journey with you guys. So thanks for listening.